This is just amazing. Some of the possibilities we have for tomatoes. These tomatoes on this plant came from that slice, one of those slices. We planted 2 of those. In order for tomatoes to be able to grow some fruit, they need a little bit of help sometimes. So you need to either stake them or support them so that they can grow fruit and that fruit doesn't weigh them over. We're gonna need to tie that up. Those tomatoes are too heavy for that vine. I got some twine here, I'm gonna tie them up. Left over from my trellis project with the peas, I still have some scrap fencing, so I thought, you know, I want to make this as quick and easy as possible. It doesn't have to be pretty. It's ugly, but it only took me about 10 minutes to actually install, about 10 minutes to cut the panel. Notice how I used one stake and I tied it different ways. Sometimes you're able to be more effective like that. One thing can help with multiples. I did that over here too. This one fence panel kind of is acting as a support for multiple plants throughout. It's okay to have a little bit of support. We've got some fruit here, but as the wind blows, some of the stresses that this has, it has to have some support to hold that fruit up in order for it to be successful. If it didn't have that support, it couldn't survive. That fruit would fold it over. So it doesn't really matter how you support it. See, this is a different variety of tomato. It looks different, but look at how it's going to get to be top heavy as those tomatoes grow. These other ones are leaning up against and growing through that support. Others need to be tied up. Here I haven't tied any of these, but I probably will need to eventually. I've tied that up. Those need support to hold that up. And I've tied these up over here as they're growing some fruit. It's kind of like a school. Sometimes you need a little bit of support to grow some fruit. As you become more and more successful in your schoolwork, you might need a little bit more support and a little bit more help because the courses get to be a little bit harder to hold everything up. But in order to be effective, you got to have your support system in place. What a joy. Our cherry tomatoes are coming in. This is some of the first fruits right here. They're really looking nice. So tomatoes don't only need support when they're bearing fruit, sometimes they need a pest intervention. I guess that's kind of like when distractions come. Sometimes it helps to have a little reminder of why you're doing what you're doing. Found me an intruder. Look at that ugly tomato worm right there. He's gonna have to go bye-bye. I wondered what was happening with the tops of these tomatoes. Alright, I guess I did find another one right there in the other bed. As I was examining my tomatoes, this is the damage that they do at the top. So, yeah, so that's the telltale sign that we've got tomato worm. Sometimes it is harder and harder to hold up those heavy tomatoes, and so that's why we stake them. But I've noticed also that those tomato plants, they get stronger. As those tomato plants grow larger stems, the stems become stronger and stronger and are able to hold up more and more fruit, and they're able to produce more. So that's what supporting the tomatoes is all about. Tomato is a fruit, by the way.